Hi, and welcome to Prepping Essentials.
You've heard me talk no end of times about this penne pasta. At less than 30 pence for half a kilo, it is really a bargain for your long-term food stores. So why wouldn't you make full use of that? And you've probably seen me cook with that a few times in different videos. Traditionally, people think about sauces. For pasta, they think about the tomato sauce, and there's a huge variety, lots of which I keep. So we've got a chunky mushroom, onion and garlic, and just a plain passata tomato sauce. But you'll have also seen me cook pasta before with chicken in white sauce. And in a long-term grid down scenario, you're not going to be able to resupply your ready-made sauces. And tomatoes can be quite difficult because you do need an awful lot of tomato to make a thick tomato sauce like this. So today I thought I'd focus on the white sauces, and in a long-term grid down scenario where you couldn't get resupplies of the white sauce, you would need to make your own, and that's what we're going to look at today. Pasta with a white sauce made from our preps. Well, just to make sure that this is all from our preps, clearly the pasta is. I bulk dry store many kilos of that. You'll have seen from the recipe that we need milk, flour and butter. So clearly I store flour in my long-term preps. This is just regular plain flour. In terms of milk, I'm going to be using powdered milk. You'll have seen me use that in previous videos. And then rather than shop bought butter, again this is something you'll have seen in a previous video, I'm going to be using ghee. So all of this is long-term food stores that you could realistically store, well, pretty much indefinitely for the pasta, many years for the flour and the skimmed milk. And the ghee, if you vacuum sealed that, again, you can freeze it and it's pretty much indefinite. So all of these realistically you could have in your long-term preps. You wouldn't be worried about running out of them in a grid down scenario. Okay, so first things first, just popped a pan on to boil for our pasta. It's reached boiling now, so I've measured out. It's normally about 75 grams per person. There's only me, so I'll pop that into there. Just give it a quick stir around, make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom, and then we can pop the lid on and just let that do its thing for the next 10 to 12 minutes till it reaches the firmness that you want yourself. And now that's on the go, we can start making our white sauce. We're going to be making half a pint of milk. So into a jug, it's 2 and let's say a quarter heaped teaspoons of the powdered milk, and add into that half a pint of cold water, and just give that a stir to blend it all in. You are going to have to stir this for a while to make sure that there are no lumps in there. So I'll come back to you shortly when it's time for the next ingredient. Okay, so while our pasta is cooking away, we'll make the sauce. I'm going to use ghee rather than shop bought butter. And all we're doing is taking a good tablespoon of the ghee or the butter and just popping it into our pan and just let that melt down. That does smell very nice. I'll just take that off the heat while I get a clean spoon. So into there we're going to put, same again, a good heaped tablespoon of flour. And this is where it comes in now. We've got to get this mixed up. This is only on a low heat. Don't be tempted to overdo this with the temperature. Mix everything in. We're after a little paste. We've now got. Now again, gradually, we've got our half a pint of milk and we're just going to add gradually to the pan. And just keep mixing this until it blends down. I'm using a spoon for this, but you can use a whisk, probably easier if you do. But for the moment, I'm trying to blend all of this together. You can see it's starting to thicken up. So we'll just gradually keep adding our milk. And just keep repeating this until you've used your milk. Then you can get your fork or your whisk out to give it a good beating to get rid of all of these lumps. I need to quickly check the pasta. That's been on now for about 8 minutes or so. So I'll quickly check the pasta, make sure that it's cooking properly until it gets to that firmness that I like. Then I'll gradually keep adding the milk and I'll come back to you shortly. I just checked the pasta and it's been going for about 8 or 9 minutes, probably just coming up to 10 minutes now, so it won't be long before that's done. It was still a little bit too firm for me. I like it to be soft but still with a little bit of a bite to it, if that makes sense. So not too soggy. And I've just turned the heat up slightly on this now to a medium heat while I've been stirring, and I'm just going to pop the last of that milk in. And as it starts to warm up, we're aiming for it to just get to boiling point, and then we can decide what we want in terms of any extra ingredients to go into the sauce. So I think now I'll transition across to a whisk just to make sure I get the last of these little lumps out. There's not a great deal in there. But as it starts to get towards that boiling point, the lumps should pretty much disappear on their own anyway. So in terms of what we want to have with this sauce, you are going to need, let me just stop that from boiling over, the joys of doing this live. We are going to put the normal salt and pepper in, normal condiments, and I'll actually do that now. So, a bit of ground black pepper, a little bit of salt. That's that pink Himalayan rock salt. So if there are any lumps in this, it's going to be the salt, I'm guessing. In terms of adding to it, you can add pretty much what you want. You could put garlic in there as an extra flavour. You can see that started to thicken up now. Now in terms of consistency for this, if you want it to be more of a runny sauce, then clearly you can just add a bit more milk. So as you're mixing your ingredients, your butter, your flour and your milk, you can mix and match with those to get it to the consistency that you want. In terms of giving it a bit more body, a bit more calories, you could add, I'll just take that off the heat slightly, you could add from your stores tinned mushrooms, but what I'm actually going to do is chop up this tin of ham into little cubes and pop that into there. So this sauce is pretty much there now. I don't want it to be overdone at this stage because we're going to be adding the pasta, and the water in the pasta will help to thin this a little bit. But if you can see there, it is a nice thick sauce and free from lumps. So I'll quickly turn the camera around and I can chop up my tinned ham to go with this, and then we'll see it all come together because that pasta will be done now. So I'll be back to you shortly. So all I've done is chopped up half of that tin into little chunks. I'm going to quickly drain off the pasta. Just bear with me 2 seconds, turn that off camera. And then just pop the pasta into the sauce. Along with the meat. And then we don't need this whisk now. I can just blend this in with a fork. It's a little bit like a carbonara, except it's penne pasta rather than spaghetti. So I'll just bring that back up to temperature and then we'll be ready for plating up. Okay, that's reached temperature, so let's get it plated up. So here we go. I did do this as one portion, but in reality there is an awful lot of it. So it's probably slightly over one portion. I mean, that for me is quite a decent portion, and you can see there's still quite a bit left in the pan. Waste not, want not. Let's pop a bit more on. And there we go. Our ham and pasta in white sauce, made from our preps. As I often say, there's no great science to this. You can add or subtract whatever you want to make your ingredients for this. But ham's quite nice and it's good calorific value as well. But as I say, you can pretty much put what you want in there, whatever your taste is. But there we go. Ham and pasta in a white sauce, cooked entirely from our preps. Bon appetit.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope there was something in there that was of interest to you. If you did like the video, please do click on the like button. Also, feel free to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. As always, I welcome any comments, questions or suggestions you might have. What do you think of the white sauce? Pretty simple stuff really in a grid down scenario. And do you have any recipes for sauces that you think might be useful for anybody? Let us know in the comments section below. But for now, thanks for watching and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.